Hello, great people. The former governor of Kano State and the candidate of NNPP during the 2023 presidential election, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, has taken a swipe on Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his political boys. He said Lagos boys want to colonize Kano State and the north at large. He made this assertion based on the lingering issue between the Tinubu presidency and the northern ethnic stock as regards tax being overbearing as a government and all that. In this video, I'll be giving you the details, and I would be giving you an in-depth analysis using two cases to see whether the Tinubu presidency is really trying to colonize Kano State and by extension the north. Let me give you an expo. It's a yes and no. So one case that we give you shows that the Tinubu presidency is trying to really colonize them. And on the other hand, it shows that no, it is the people of the north that are being very greedy and perhaps irrational. If you are yet to subscribe, do well to subscribe to this channel so that you can always catch up with my video and all my episodes on politing with Dr. Omosoladeji, your favorite political scientist. Now, let's dive into this thing. Is Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his political empire, or should we say his presidency, trying to colonize the north? Now, let us start from Kano State, which is the home state of Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. Is Bola Ahmed Tinubu trying to colonize? The answer is yes. In the sense that, you remember the case of Lamido Sanusi, the emir of Kano State. Lamido Sanusi is an emir of Kano State. Emirship has to do with state and local government. But then, the Tinubu presidency, under the influence of Abdullahi Ganduje, the APC national chairman, who happens to be a former governor in the state, and has been having a running battle with his erstwhile godfather, which is Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, because Ganduje was the deputy of Kwankwaso when Kwankwaso was the governor in Kano State. By the way, I did my NYC years ago in Kano State, so I'm a bit familiar with the terrain and politics of Kano State. Now, this man, the emir, Lamido Sanusi, this is the politics about it. You see, politics is a game of interest, and you need to be very careful so that you are not used as an instrument in the hands of this politician, because to them it's always about interest. Now, the Ganduje government removed Sanusi based on the influence of Buhari and the Buhari cabal. When Abba Kabir Yusuf, the incumbent governor, came in, he reinstated Sanusi and sacked Adobayero that was used to replace Sanusi Lamido. Now, there is a twist to it. It was the same Tinubu stock, the same Buhari stock that influenced the former governor, Kwankwaso, to appoint Sanusi as emir, despite the fact that it wasn't really the choosing one at that time, to spite former President Goodluck Jonathan. They were not in good terms with Goodluck Jonathan. Goodluck Jonathan ended Sanusi's tenure as governor of the central bank. By virtue of that, they still want to make Sanusi relevant. So they now influence Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso to install Sanusi as emir of Kano. You know, emir of Kano State is a very powerful cultural position or traditional position. If you're an emir, and as at then, there was one emirate. Now, Ganduje split the emirate, but now there's only one emirate in Kano State. So it is a very crucial, respected position. Kwankwaso agreed and made Sanusi the emir. Now, Ganduje removed him. Kwankwaso orchestrated his reinstatement. Now that Sanusi is back there, the Sanusi that the Tinubu boys and Buhari influenced his installation in the first place, they are now working against his reinstatement. That's why I said that be very careful not to be used as an instrument by politicians, because they really can't be trusted. It's about interest. Now that their interest does not align, they are now working against the wish of the state, which is that Adobayero should cease to be the emir. And they have been using federal might, federal force to make that not to fully happen. So the state government has been angry that this is none of your business. It is strictly a state affair. So if you are trying to lord over the state, in the true sense of the word of Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, it means you are truly trying to colonize the state. So for that, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso is right in that regard. Now, the other aspect, the case number 2, I said I'll give you the second case. The second case has to do with tax. Bola Ahmed Tinubu proposed a bill that the tax now should be by derivation formula. What that means is that whatever is earned in your state, whatever is earned around you, there will be a percentage of it that will come to you. In other words, if your state is earning, let's say, 1 million naira as tax, if the derivation, if let's say 20% is to come to you, that means you will get 200,000 naira. In another state, if another state works hard and is able to embrace investors and all that, if that state is earning 10 million naira as tax and the derivation is 20%, that means that state will have 2 million naira. So it means that some states can be earning 2 million while some states will be earning just 200,000 naira. That sounds a bit logical. At least it will make the governors to be productive. Then if you factor in religion, there are some states that, for instance, in Kano State, the same Kano State, there's Isba police, that beer is not tolerated. But then, in Lagos, people are popping beer every time. There's, nightclubs, clubs all over the place. Everybody is vibing. But you are collecting the tax earned from beer. That's hypocrisy. So, based on that, if Tinubu revised the tax policy, it is very correct, because if your religion does not permit people to drink beer around you, the same religion, if you are not an hypocrite, should not permit you to spend the money earned from beer. So the people that, allow beer to be consumed in their state, they are not silly, right? So it makes sense, the Tinubu, I usually tell you on this platform that whatever you do is what will determine the way I will go. I don't hate anybody, I don't like anybody. If Tinubu is doing the right thing, I will say it. And that's the truth. So on the tax policy, Tinubu is right. Tinubu is very correct. A situation whereby monkey they walk, baboon they chop. That should stop, because now Kano has, I think, 41 local government. Lagos has 20. And I think the current tax system is the tax fund is currently being shared by land mass and population. What that means is that most of the tax will be generated from Lagos. It is Lagos that will provide security, amenities for the people that the tax is being generated from. But Kano State, that is just sitting there idle, that won't let people to drink beer, will not be receiving an humongous share of that money, because Kano is struggling in terms of population count with Lagos. I think that is not fair. They will collect tax from oil companies in Rivers State. The Rivers people and the Niger Delta people are the ones suffering the pollution. But these key northern states are just receiving free money. So if you don't want money, if you don't want people to drink beer, don't collect money from beer. Let Lagos State, that wants people to drink beer, let them be earning the tax and be using it to create amenities for the people in Lagos State. So for that, Tinubu is right. But then the conspiracy against Tinubu is very concerning, because the northern governors are not only going all out, northern powerful stakeholders such as Kwankwaso and the likes are going against him, to the extent that the northern governors are even threatening their House of Representative member. For instance, Abdulmumin Jubrin, he was a former APC guy, but he fell out with the state party chairman at that time, during Gandu Jeswin. He's from Kano State as well, Abdulmumin Jubrin. And they edged him out politically. But when a new alliance formed under the NNPP, under the leadership of Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, he was given the House of Representative ticket. And now he is an honorable. But the thing is that I've watched Abdulmumin Jubrin on TV, whereby he feels that the tax position of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is logical. Now, his political, godfather, in quote, if I can use that word, or the political leader of his party is against the tax policy. So you can see the disparity of ideas, the conflict of ideas. And at the end of the day, these people may eventually have their way, because these governors are even including the emirs. And in the north, once you begin to include religious leaders, if the political leaders are against you and the traditional and religious leaders are against you, politically you are almost finished. You saw what happened during the time of Jonathan, and Jonathan never do reach Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So in terms of what Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso said, that colonize the north, it is true and it is false. So in terms of chieftaincy, in terms of emirship, the way federal government is acting, it is as if truly federal government want to dictate. It is ultra vires, which means beyond powers. The federal government is acting beyond its powers on the matter of emirship issue in Kano State. But in terms of tax, I support Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I barely agree with him. You understand? I'm not a super fan of the president, because I always stand on the part of truth. And Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he doesn't do right things almost every time. It is once in a blue moon that he usually do the right thing. So we know the two agree. You understand? And I can't cease from saying the truth. But on this tax policy, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is right, and I stand with him on this tax policy. So Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso should not kind of come and whip up sentiment and say, or try to kind of like use Kano politics to now draw regional disaffection against the president, because Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso also know that the tax policy is largely right. Monkey no fit dey walk, may baboon dey chop. But the truth is, can Bola Ahmed Tinubu survive this thing? What I can advise Bola Ahmed Tinubu is that he should tread with caution. He is fighting too many battles. You understand? He should take things easy. Nigerians are not really your big fan in terms of the hardship that is being created in the land. You still have your core loyalists, but people are largely displeased. And as a Yoruba man, I've been able to speak with a lot of Yoruba people, and expressing their disappointment on this platform is another day. That's another discourse for another day. But the truth is, you can't lose some support in the south that you are from. The Igbos are not really your big fan. Peter Obi is still their major political asset, and you have failed to release Nnamdi Kanu, like you released, like you have leave Sunday Igboho to be a free man. That's still an issue for the Igbos. The North, which is your supporting political base, you are having an issue with them. The powerful stakeholders, people like Obasanjo, influential people, they are not really your best of friends. So it begs the question that how do you want to survive politically, knowing fully well that you will still run for election in 2027? There's no way you will be alive and you will say you are not contesting. We know that because you are power-centric. So in that kind of instance, I think the president should fight this battle one after the other. But on the tax policy, it's very correct. But he should have a change of thought on the issue of emirship in Kano State. It's been an interesting time with you on this episode of Politing with Dr. Omoshola. Dr. Deji is a political scientist with a PhD in political science, and this is where we relax to analyze politics and happenings in the polity. Do want to subscribe, turn on your notification button, catch up with my past videos, and of course, I have great, interesting videos coming your way. Till I see you again, always remember that I love you all sincerely.